left off from the FDF rear arms. Today, we have got to get the front on, but the thing is, I haven't gotten the upper arms yet, and the factory ones are not in the best of shape, I'd say. But the Z has upper control arms from the Mild Mantis kit, and we need these wheels off of it anyways. I'm thinking we might as well go ahead and pull the upper arms off of the Z and put them on this car. That way this car gets the hand-me-downs, and then when the new ones come in, they'll just go on the RB car. But let's get these open and unwrapped, because they're still all in packaging. And of course they have their beautiful new FDF green. But one of the good things about this kit is this bolt actually gets recessed, so you don't actually need to get a wrench on it. Just keep it held up and it'll be able to tighten down that way. So got our tie rods, tie rod adapters. Oh wow, damn dude, that looks good. No adjustable shock mount on the Mild Mantis. So on the FDF kit, I can pull up a video of me installing this one and throw it over the screen, but there's actually an adjustable shock mount where it bolts on to the lower, and you have multiple different holes. You can move it forward and back. What that does is it changes the stiffness of your front suspension, essentially. So if that is something you're looking for, you're definitely going to want to look at the Mild Mantis kit versus this. But this is going to be essentially a street car that can drift, so as simple as I can get it while still having the adjustments I need is very important. So I went ahead and put the OEM uppers on. I don't feel like taking them off the Z at the moment, and I don't think they'll actually work because I think the mounting point up here is a tad bit different. Or maybe it's not, but I'd honestly rather the kit just match up front and not have a gray upper and a green lower and knuckle adapter. So we're gonna roll with these until we can get the FDF one. We gotta get the tie rod out. I went ahead and broke both sides loose. Simply just get yourself two crescent wrenches. You want to make sure you're putting a crescent wrench on the rack, because you don't want to put all of that force on the tie rod breaking it loose, twisting the rack. You'll blow seals and you'll fuck the rack up. Don't do that. All right. We got to put the rack adapter for the tie rod in, but we got to get to this bolt, so we need this out. This is a 8mm Allen key. Let's loosen that up, pull her out, and then we have a rack adapter. And just so you guys know, the one that I found to fit is an H14 Allen key. Actually fits perfect. We're gonna want to put some Loctite on there. I could not find my blue Loctite, so since I'm using red, it is going to be a very extremely small amount. About that much. That ought to be all right. From what I can tell, the straight tie rod adapters do not actually have the notch on it. So just to be safe, I am going to put the little plastic rubber, I guess kind of adapter thing in here, just so that those little gaps are full and it'll keep kind of a grip on the end of this adapter. So and again, you're going to want to put a ratchet on it and then put a wrench on the end of the rack so we're not straining that. It tightens up and turns with it, so it's probably not gonna be perfect, but it'll be all right. We want to take our tie rod in, fish that through, slide a bolt in. This an Allen with a T handle is not the best idea for this spot, but we will make do. Totally forgot to click record, but when you throw this tie rod in, make sure that you go ahead and thread it all the way into this one on the rack and then all the way in on here. That way you know you have it 100% even on both sides, and that way you can just use your adjustment in the center to extend it out. That way it goes evenly. So let's move this off to the side. There are these little nubs on the inside of the subframe that you're going to want to grind off. I don't have a little rotary tool or anything, so we're going to have to be very gentle with an angle grinder. That'll do her. Just do the same thing on the other side. It doesn't have to, it's not much that you're grinding off, but it'll restrict you from being able to get this in here, get the arm in here, if that's there. So wow, how the f does that work? Oh my god, I hope that didn't destroy the threads, dude. There's no way. That's insane. Well, we may have to end up retapping this one or something. Wow, that sucks. I mean, look at that. It like welded itself to the knuckle and just ripped the threads out and then ruined the rest of them on the way out. That's bullshit. That one's perfectly fine though. Oh, we'll figure that out, I guess. God, dude. Couldn't imagine what you people deal with out north. Jesus. I think my shitty DeWalt's starting to slip. There you have your knuckle adapter. Obviously, I got to get that bolt back in, but we're definitely gonna have to retap that or something. So, I wonder what would happen. Cool. Well, hopefully that works. There we go. Yeah, just retapped it with the OEM bolt, the good OEM bolt. Here's our trusty Viper chair. Pitch that out of the way. Let's toss this unit up in here. One thing to note too on the Mild Mantis kit versus the Mega Mantis kit, I don't know if it's a geometry thing or what, but as you can see, the way this goes on, it goes over the tie rod rather than on my Z. This is the opposite. So this actually goes underneath that unit on there. Now I have the brace that goes under here, but for now, just to hold everything up, I'm just gonna throw this nut on there. There you have your lower and your tie rod. The way I like to do it, hang it from the top first, because holding this thing up is pretty annoying when you're trying to get it in the lower control arm. So what I do, just rest it on the lower control arm anywhere. Get your nut on the upper. Take a lower, raise it up into there. Oh, not pop ourselves in the mouth. And now, obviously, I understand my lower ball joint is blown out. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I did actually just get some in, but since I'm going to have to, I don't have a press here for one, so since I'm gonna have to come back in here and redo the upper control arms anyways, I figured I'd just go ahead and leave these for now. I know it might get the FDF dirty, but we will be able to degrease it, clean it up, it'll be fine. But this is just to get things in here and get things going. So like we mentioned on the tie rod earlier, now we can adjust it to the length we need very easily just by twisting the actual tie rod itself. And snag these, throw them in, so that we can slide this onto our knuckle adapter. And I'm actually going to extend this some more because I know we'll need to. I'm going to take a trans jack and I'm going to eyeball where I can get the tie rod the most level, so that whenever I tighten everything down on the suspension itself, it's at its almost normal resting spot for whenever it's sitting on the ground, so that you're not putting too much tension on any type of bushings. I know these are like ball joint and stuff like that, but still, just to take the precaution of making sure that everything is in its natural sitting position before you tighten everything down is very important. gonna leave this one loose. I usually like to run as much caster on these as possible. Although I don't have the sway bar in right now, I'm gonna go ahead and bolt on the adapters. I'll show you exactly what this does here in a minute, because you're probably looking at this like, what the f. So you'll take this and you'll go through your tie rod holes on the lower control arm, and then put your nuts and washers on the back side. And this raises the geometry of the linkage for the sway bar to give you a little bit different stiffness or softness. I'm not too sure how it actually works, but I wanted to try this myself so that I could feel it out and see what the difference actually feels like and relay it to you guys. Because the closest resembled kit that I've had to this setup specifically would be my old version 1 GK Tech Superlock kit. And it was almost the same concept. V1 of GK Tech was just V1. So I'm interested to see how something like this can actually change the movement of the car up front, side to side, and if it makes it even stiffer on entry or during load, just, you know, high RPMs around one turn. Other than that, you would just bolt your tie rod in through either the middle or either one of those three on the side that you have to choose from. So maybe you've tried it, maybe you've just left it in the normal holes on the lower control arm. Let me know what you think and what you suggest on the G Sedan specifically, and hell, I'll give it a whirl just to see what it does. But other than that, that's pretty much it on the FDF kit up front. So just to kind of recap, the FDF Mild Mantis angle kit up front, still waiting on the upper control arms, but we know how those feel on the Z. And then we obviously have the full multi-link suspension kit from FDF along with the dual caliper brackets. Still waiting on those calipers as well. So we'll get to that. We obviously have some coilovers to install because we can't run a car without coilovers. That'll come in the next one. So for anyone wondering, yes, we are painting this car, and I'm not going to tell you specifically what color it is just yet. If you got your guesses on what color it might be, drop them down in the comments, let me know. But that's pretty much it on this one, so I'll catch you guys when we're throwing some BCs on.
Up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want 4, then I leave. I'm a young pop star.